Hey guys, Babooni's back. Lost our fire for redemption, but now we're getting the fire back. And what better way to get the fire back but participating in a Lackey Grand Prix? Nothing like some competitive redemption to get my deck building juices flowing again. I sat out the last Lackey Grand Prix, and as a result, I wasn't really motivated to work on redemption anything. So no videos, no decks, no side projects. But now we're getting back in it, and it's okay to have seasons of doing things. Anyways, here we are. So what is Babooni up to these days? I am still exploring the 100 card space. I find it really interesting as a deck builder, the limitations and interesting decisions you can make, and just the overall power level of the decks. Feels like there's a higher skill ceiling for these type of decks, and I like that. Anyways, 100 card decks, one of the biggest weaknesses is obviously you can't get to your Son of God Second Coming as quickly as the 50 card decks. So you have to really build your deck in a way that you can get to your dominance when you need to. So we've seen previously decks that I've explored are mostly the Clay and Nativity variants. And the reason being is that the Nativity has access to the Annunciation, which can be used to search up your dominant when you need to. And Clay has the Spirit as a Dove, which is a territory class enhancement that you can play on your Meek Clay hero to get a dominant from your deck. And there really aren't that many types of these enhancements in Redemption. They're few and far between, so I felt kind of shoehorned into only thinking just a couple of archetypes are viable. But starting to try and be more creative, think about things, and ask myself what would happen if instead of the Second Coming, we played New Jerusalem. You may ask yourself, like, Babooni, why would you do that? Isn't New Jerusalem just a strictly worse version of Second Coming? If you play Son of God and Second Coming in the same phase, it's basically identical to New Jerusalem, and even maybe in some scenarios is better than Second Coming because you can get around Nazareth. So that's like one example of why New Jerusalem might be better. But the reason I'm playing New Jerusalem here is that I get to play the New Jerusalem site. It says, begins as a site. When you put it down and when you have a hero in battle, anytime you have a hero in battle, you can add this site to battle. And when it gets added to battle, you can activate its site ability, which says you may convert the site to a hero. And so this hero is going to be in battle, and the hero ability is going to activate. It says you may search deck or reserve for New Jerusalem. So basically, all this card for me is what I'm doing is I'm trying to put a hero into battle, and then maybe after I win the battle, but before the lost soul is surrendered, I'm going to add this card to battle, get my New Jerusalem out of my deck as a way to find the New Jerusalem card that's so important to win the game. The reason why I kind of like this technology is that I have the card Angelic Guidance, which can search my deck for a silver card. It doesn't have to be a good silver card. This is a neutral silver card because it's all brigades. So Angelic Guidance can go grab Patmos, Golgotha, or New Jerusalem, and also have other ways to grab Angelic Guidance out of my deck in the form of the New Covenant. So imagine if I was just playing Son of God Second Coming, I would say, let's say I would have, how many ways would I have to get to that second copy of Second Coming? I would have one, two, I'd have two ways to do it. But since now I'm playing New Jerusalem, I have effectively 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and even Angel of Warning, he gets to play a site from my deck. So I can play the New Jerusalem site from my deck and now add it to battle. So you're seeing how just by that one choice to make Second Coming New Jerusalem, I've dramatically increased the odds of me getting this card into my hand during the course of the game. And so I'm thinking like this, maybe if more decks, more 100 card decks, I would try this New Jerusalem thing in. I could just do like silver, gold, silver, green. As long as I have maybe the package of a couple Angelic Guidances, like I could see a New Testament gold deck working well because you could use the New Covenant to go get your Teaching in Parables or Amazing Faith. And when you need it, grab your Angelic Guidances and then use your Angelic Guidances to get to your New Jerusalem when you want that. So yeah, so the fact that Angelic Guidance just kind of splashes into silver decks and is good with the New Covenant just makes this a strong package. Obviously, it's a little weak to negate neutrals because if they're negating your New Jerusalem, you can't search your deck for, can't activate his ability. So anyways, what we're trying here today is a silver-based deck, and the idea is to capitalize on the strength of the Resurrection Revealer. We're playing lots of Gospel Angels, and we're also playing lots of banding cards. The idea is to push a hero into battle that maybe has low initiative, like Surveying Spirit or Angel of the Harvest, get initiative and play one of our banding enhancements. And then when we band in Angels, we can draw maybe 3 off the Legion, draw 2 off Magnifying Multitude, search for a dominant here, And if all that fails, we can just push in a hero that can do battle by the numbers, which is surprisingly good right now. We also have this tiny package if we really need to accelerate our draw. Turn 1, we can get to Angel from the Sun and grab Matthew. And in this deck, you kind of just want to be revealing dominance from your hand in order to, you don't want to convert Matthew. Because on the turns you banned to your Angels, you ban to your Angel from the Sun, which can exchange to your territory and get your Martyr, bring in your Martyr to reuse him again. In addition to that, we're doing the Soul Oppression, where we're trying to get to a turn 1 Harvest Time, put out all the Lost Souls into play, and all the Lost Souls I'm playing have annoying abilities that are difficult to play around. As far as defense is going, I'm just using a Herod defense I've been tuning for these 100 card decks. It's like my go-to defense, especially when I'm trying out like a new offense. It's hard to do like a new offense and a new defense in the same deck. It's easier to just really tune your offense and just have a defense that you've kind of already worked on. But what I'm doing differently here is I've seen the power of the Outsiders. I got wrecked at this card in the TJC tournament, but just the fact that you can go Herod's Temple, put that down, activate it during battle, then block with your Outsiders makes it really hard if you activate Abomination of Desolation for them to do anything about that. It's like about as strong as you have your Herod's Temple and you activate your Outsiders, or you block with your Outsiders, and they're in special initiative, but they can't play enhancements. So it's like another way for your New Testament human to put them in special initiative. So it's like a good splash card, and that allows me to play Forces Arise, which is basically another copy of Christian Martyr. In the reserve, we have a Concealed Riches package. The idea is to exchange some cards from my reserve, so I can either grab a Possessing Spirit out there, put that in their territory, and then choose it as a blocker with Simon, or we have a band where I can grab the Michael, the Daniel, Surveying Spirit, and I attack with Michael, band to Surveying Spirit and Daniel. So I get that negate from Daniel. I get to pop a card from their hand, regardless of protect. In a territory class, I could use First Sacrifice on Daniel to pop another evil card. So I don't think there's much in the game that could block Daniel, plus popping 2 cards in their hand. So that's the main idea of the deck here. This offense it's basically very similar to the offense I played in Nationals Type 2. So I do believe in this strategy, but we'll see how it goes in the game. All right, we're up against Red Wing, and he looks like he got a 6 and we got a 3. And he's going to choose us to go first here. Sorry if the screen looks a little distorted. This was recorded on a monitor that a little bit different dimensions than my software that I'm recording. So everything looks a little stretched as a result. I'm going to use my star ability to look at his reserve, and I saw there he's playing some sort of Herod Disciple deck. So like probably one of the strongest decks you could be playing right now, at least from a couple years ago. But I would say it's probably the de facto best deck, Herods and Disciples. Anyways, he's doing the Ascension, has a star ability to play a Lost Soul from a deck. I think he chose his deck. He put a Crowds into play, which is going to stop me from looking at his hand. And he has a Distressed in play and a Harvest, which create that token, right? I do have the Harvest Time. And before I go into my upkeep, I like to play the Harvest Time, and you'll see why. I'm going to play all the Lost Souls from all our decks. The number is 100. I'll play 100 Lost Souls from each of our decks, and there's only 14 from mine. I'm just getting out this giant stack of Lost Souls. And because I'm the active player, they will all activate before my opponents. The active player in this sense is the player whose turn it is. I don't really like playing this deck against people who are newer to the game, because if I did this on turn 1, it would be very overwhelming. But it does make for some interesting matches, especially like Red Wing. Red Wing was really able to keep track of everything. So it was like created quite the chess match. So open hand, I was able to negate his Crowds with my Disoriented there. Then I revealed his hand. I think I saw a Herod the Great in there, and so looking at my hand, I know I probably can't get through Herod the Great. So I'm basically consigning myself to throw away my first attack here. Anyways, the reason why I like playing Harvest Time upkeep is that, or before my upkeep, is that I get the Imitate trigger. And the Imitate trigger says at the beginning of your upkeep, you can copy another Lost Soul and treat it as if you've just drawn it. So I like to do the Imitate targeting, the Lawless. The Lawless reveals the top 6 cards in my deck, and I get to grab an evil card. And so by doing it in my upkeep, or playing Harvest Time before my upkeep, I can effectively draw a card there and draw an evil card. And it's hard for me to pass up on that. I do lose out on the flexibility of playing Harvest Time in battle to use Harvest Time to negate something with the Disoriented, but I think I prefer the +1 card here. So I attacked with the Angel of the Harvest and looked at the top card of my deck, top 2 cards, and grabbed a card. And basically, I'm forcing him to get his Herod's Temple out and start a toss battle, or else I'm going to threaten to band to my character. And I think I saw he had like a Contagious Fear in his hand, but now that I've Orphans, I don't think that's going to be doing much. I could have gone Grapes of Wrath on his blocker, but I think I saw he had another evil character in his hand when I looked at it earlier. That's why I didn't do that. All right, so my defense here, I have Executioner, Deceiver, plus 2 enhancements. One is Duplicity, which doesn't do anything on turn 1 because you can't take cards out of your reserve. But yeah, so my opponent, he has to play around. I have a Humble, Lost Soul out. I have a Distressed. I have Accusers. I have Wicked. I have Dole. I have Crowds, Orphans, and I have the one that negates banding. That's quite a lot of effects to dance around on turn 1, unless he has a Meek or a negate neutral card. So he has a 3 woes here, which is going to be able to do some work here just to disable the hate pieces. So here's the thing with woes, you can play it before you upkeep, and when it comes down, you get to negate something for a turn. So he's going to negate Dole. Then when it hits his upkeep, he gets the second trigger, which allows it to negate another card. So he's going to negate my Dole and my Crowds, and which means I think I saw a way for him to get to Matthew. So if I wanted to play around that a little bit more, I could have played down a Deceiver from my hand or discarded my Silver enhancement. Anyways, Matthew's coming in. He gets to see my hand, converts to Meek, and draws 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. Now I have to think about what I want to do as a block. Probably going to do my own Herod the Great here, get a Herod's Temple out. So yeah, using Deceiver. If I did want to go Herod the Great, I would want to grab a Herod's Guard first. But instead, I think in the moment I realized the chance of the clay deck having an answer for this is pretty low. And the chance of him being able to toss down Herod is probably higher. So I'm going to do turn 1 Outsiders, activate a bomb, and that puts Matthew in special initiative. He would have to have a card that says negate neutral card, and yeah, there's not a lot of those in clay. So Outside is very good against clay, and if he decided to use a Ride-On to add a Meek clay hero to battle, I could have Grapes of Wrath my Outsiders. So the score is 0-0. He gets a Meek down, and I think I saw an Akeem in his opening hand, but that might be negated by the Distressed. So yeah, there's the Son of God on the Distressed. So now his Akeem is going to start working. And so that means a lot of all this work that I did to put the Lost Souls out is now getting undone by his 1 card. So I would have really liked to keep using my Imitate Lost Soul on Lawless, but yeah, his Akeem is definitely putting a damper on things. But the good thing for me, from my perspective, I've forced my opponent to use Son of God, so now my Grapes of Wrath is live. And now I've used them also to use their 3 woes. So I'm forcing my opponent to have the answers at the right time. And if opponent didn't have woes that turn or didn't have the Akeem, they would have been in a lot worse position. And they're only going to have those answers like 20% of the games. So, all right, so my turn. I have a really slow start. I don't have any of my angels that draw anything. Or drawing multiple cards. So I'm just trying to make the best I can do right now. I don't have any ways to get around the Herods and the Herod's Temple. So I'm just going to have to try and rely on my defense. Using Angel of Warning to play out Herod's Temple for my deck to help my defense have a better block. But I know I'm not going to be able to, win any battles here. So let's see, he's getting Herod's Guard, which is going to prevent the next good card played in battle. And he's going to exchange with the Herod from his territory. And I forget that he is preventing the next. And so I'm going to try to play enhancement here, which is going to get prevented. And even though I have a Humble out, Humble only works if I have less cards in my hand than the opponent. And his Herod Archelaus is going to start picking apart my reserve, getting rid of the first sacrifice, which is good for him. So he's not going to be using Temple, and I forget that this is prevented. So we're going to undo all of this really fast. So yeah, we undo everything. And now I just played a prevented enhancement and I die. Then I pass the turn with 8 cards in hand. There comes the Martyr, reserve the top card of my deck. And there goes my Thomas. Thomas is a low-key one of the greatest territory class characters in 100 card decks. Just the fact that you can search your deck for any dominant is really strong. Okay, so it's his upkeep. He's using his 3 woes to negate something else. He's already got my neutrals negated, so the most logical thing for him to negate is my Temple. Because he's negating my Temple, my attacks or my blocks get a lot worse. I can no longer do Herod's Temple, activate, block with Outsiders. And even then, he has his Akeem out, which is going to be negating my Abomination of Desolation. The only way that works is if he attacks me and has more cards in hand than I do. Can go Outsiders, activate A-Bomb, and A-Bomb is going to have that cannot be prevented modifier, which is assigned by the Humble Lost Soul. Here comes Simon Peter. He's converting to Meek to ban to John. The John is also meek, and so I have a pretty easy block here. I'm going to go Executioner block because he uses search ability. I'm going to interrupt the battle, draw 2 cards, and play the stalemate. So that wouldn't have worked if he had the John that tossed the next. So yeah, so we got an easy block there. Just trying to draw more cards so that we can get to our offense. Our offense is not showing up right now. All right, we have the territory class enhancement to his hand is protected, but we do get to search for a silver card. And I'm trying to think of what's a silver card that could help get me back in the game here. I think I just need more cards. So like having Legion be a draw 2 is pretty good. So I'll just attack, draw 2. Yeah, I just don't have a lot of enhancements. I could have tried to push with Messianic Messenger and grab Child is Born. That way I would have had enough to toss down any Herod that blocked me. But here we are. Yeah, he's picking apart my reserve again, making my concealed riches worse and worse and worse. Yeah, sorry, I'm so tired. It's been a long week. Yeah, Herod Archelaus versus Legion of Angels. He's tossing, preventing the next. I'm not able to do anything, and I'm forced to just walk away. Yeah, so in retrospect, I think Messianic Messenger grabbing Child is Born would have been a stronger attack there. But anyways, here we are. Played negated Patmos, pass a turn. He uses his Futile Inquisition star ability on his turn to discard a good card from my reserve. So there goes Daniel. So he's discarded First Sacrifice, Simon, and Daniel. So my reserve is pretty gutted of things I want from it now. Keeping his woes on my temple. Yeah. So here's a problem I'm having with this offense right now is that it doesn't really deal well with Herod's Temple. And I think in order to play an offense right now, you need to have answers to Herod's Temple. So yeah, I don't know what to do about that. I could maybe just try to incorporate Daniel more into the deck. Just try to put a main deck instead of the reserve. That way I can just attack with Angels and Daniel and not have to worry about Herod's Temple. Yeah, Herod's Temple, strong card. Gotta respect it on the Herod defense, because I don't know if just pushing an Angel in the battle with some banding enhancements is going to get the job done. Okay, so anyways, Simon's coming in, converting to me, choosing Herod's Guard as a blocker. Herod's Guard, prevent the next good, exchange to a Herod from my deck. I'm basically trying to not give him initiative here. And luckily, he played down a non-gospel character. So Matthias is from the Book of Acts. So that means he is not protected by Herod's Temple. That means I can choose him as an attacker. And because I had a Herod's Guard, I'm preventing the next, so Matthias's ability doesn't trigger to convert me or to bounce me or whatever. So I'm going to be giving him initiative here, but I'm thinking to myself, like, what kind of purple enhancements is he going to use that I can't really stop? And so he has an Authority of Christ here, which is only cannot be negated if played on a meek clay hero. So I have 2 cards that I could use to stop me from being put out of my misery. I have the Revolt and I have the Duplicity. I decide to use the Duplicity to get the most value here. I can interrupt the battle and ban any number of non-Roman evil characters. So first things first, because I have less cards in hand than my opponent, I can activate an artifact that cannot be prevented. So I'm going to activate the A-Bomb with my Outsiders and put Matthias in Special Initiative again. That's going to get rid of Matthias, and now I'm free to resolve the rest of my cards. Herod's Guard, or Executioner, Herod's Guard is going to go first. I'll exchange to Herod Agrippa, get him out there, negate Akeem. That way I could use Wanderer and use Wanderer to exchange his Distressed and then start negating his Akeem during my turn. Wait, no, I don't think that works. I would have to negate Akeem during... Yeah, that doesn't work. Anyways, so I'm going to use Herod's Executioner, draw 2 cards, ban 2's Herod, discard something from his reserve, and then set aside all those guys until I attack next. I'd like Revolt and Herod's. It really takes people by surprise, and you can just get a lot of value off of it. I really want to play Herod's Temple, like Temple Guard, or Herod's Temple Guard plus Revolt deck with Goliath in it. That sounds fun. I want to just build a Goliath deck one day and just try to have Temple Guard, play banding enhancements and banding Goliath in. Maybe I'll try to do that next and just try to always just block with Temple Guard, band a Goliath. And there's a couple ways to do that. Anyways, I think that's a side tangent. Okay, he passes a turn. I don't know how I got that card. Oh, I drew that card for turn. I used its star ability to resurrect an angel, and then I'm getting confused about Akeem being prevented or not. But luckily I have the woes here, so I can I can turn off woes. I can use my woes to turn off his Akeem and get my neutrals back online before my upkeep. So before my upkeep, I'm going to play Evil Woes to negate his Akeem and then his Herod's Temple, because that's what's been giving me so many problems. And then now my neutrals are back on, so I can use Imitate to imitate a Lawless and draw an extra card, evil card. Now my neutrals are online, so that means my Patmos will work. I can grab a Revelation Angel or a Disciple. I think I just dragged the Patmos around. It was already in play, and I had used the New Covenant to grab the Child is Born. And now I'm figuring out what is my best attack here. I missed the Distressed play. I think I'm going to do the Wanderer next turn. But anyways, I'm just attacking with a Lonely Angel of the Harvest. But since he has his Herod's Temple negated, this is a lot more likely to work. And there aren't a lot of Herods that can get initiative against the 3 power, 3 toughness hero. There's Herodes' daughter and Herod's guard, or Herod's soldiers. But yeah, Herod Antipas, he is a 4-3 and I am a 3-3. And that means it's going to be my initiative to play something here. So something I could do is I could play the second seal, put all my guys in battle, his guys into battle, and then my Legion of Angels would trigger, meaning I could search my deck for a good dominant and put that dominant into my hand. So I could get Glory of the Lord, and I'll play Glory of the Lord, and now his guys would be in battle versus my guys, and I think I would have more attack than he would, and all of his Herods would die. But instead, I decided to play the Faith Unbowed, and I withdrew his guys from battle, and then I added, after I withdrew, I added New Jerusalem to battle to get the second coming, or New Jerusalem, sorry. Words are hard. I was really worried about adding New Jerusalem, the site, to my deck, because there are a lot of cards in Redemption that punish having multiple good brigades out, like Prince of the Air, like Highwayman. But the cool thing about New Jerusalem is after the battle is basically over, you can add it to battle. So it'd be a lot worse if I, attacked with the Angel and then had to add New Jerusalem to battle then, in order to use it, because then it would give my opponent the opportunity to block with Prince the turn I use New Jerusalem. All right, so unfortunately, still missing my Res Revealer here. I could go for a Crowd's Choice to Resurrection and play Res Revealer in my deck, but I don't think it's a big deal that my opponent gets to draw 4 cards here. I don't think I'm concerned. I have good blocks still, and the opponent has already used his Authority of Christ, so they're kind of running out of options to deal with this Outsiders and Herods here. During his upkeep, I think he moved his woes to my orphans, which I don't know why he didn't just leave it on Herod's Temple here. I guess he had some defense that I really wanted to make sure resolved through my orphans. And then he's using his Send the Helper, Spirit as Dove to grab Send the Helper, activating Send the Helper. Yeah, this is a problem. This is the type of thing. If you give the clay deck its covenants, it gets a lot stronger in its attacks. I'm not sure if I saw Eternal Inheritance in his reserve. Anyways, Son of God, rescuing humble lost soul. Okay, stops that. Stops my shenanigans. I think I'm deciding if I want to go for Guardian of Your Souls here. I could have gone to Crowd's Choice for Guardian of Your Souls, but I think I'm still fine here. Okay, Herod Agrippa coming in, negating Send the Helper. And if I start a toss battle, I could play Dominant or start a toss battle. Oh, because he played Son of God, or Second Coming to get his Son of God back, and now he has 2 lost souls, this block becomes really free. I asked for dominant initiative, but before I'm able to play dominant, he would like to play his own dominant, so he's using the resurrection to grab and ban to some heroes, human heroes. And so I'm thinking, unless he's banning Zacchaeus into battle, I don't really mind, because now I just get to shuffle away more things with my Grapes of Wrath. And he knows about this Grapes of Wrath because he attacked with Matthew turn 1, and he revealed my hand. So he should know that I have Duplicity and Grapes of Wrath in my hand, and maybe even Son of God. But yeah, I think he knows about Child is Born. But anyways, I'm not too worried. He gets to do a bunch of drawing. I just use the Grapes of Wrath to shuffle all his characters, and I lose my Herod. And he can't use a rescue attempt because he has more lost souls than I do. So the only 2 lost souls he's rescued is with Son of God's Second Coming. My defense is holding strong. Unfortunately, my offense isn't really breaking through either. I do have a lost soul, though. How did I get a lost soul? Oh yeah, last turn. So technically I'm ahead in the race. I just need to rescue 2 more lost souls with the angels. Okay, so here's a cool thing you can do with your Wanderer. During your draw step, you can exchange. You don't have to do it during your prep phase. You can do it during your upkeep or your draw phase. So my favorite thing to do with the Wanderer is if opponent is playing Imitate, I can, during my draw step, I can wander to their Imitate. And now I have 2 Imitate triggers where I can basically draw 2 evil cards from my deck, which is really sweet. But in this case, I'm using it to get his his distress to shut off his Akeem, and then I'm keeping my woes on his temple. And now I'm going to Son of God, New Jerusalem, rescue the Wanderer so he doesn't wander back to me. And crowds, just because I like looking at his hand. So yeah, I'm going to search, play this, reveal his hand. Because I played Son of God, New Jerusalem, his Grapes of Wrath becomes a lot scarier for me. And now I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I play around his Grapes of Wrath? Yeah. Unfortunate. So maybe if I was playing a little bit better, I would have searched and looked at his hand. Oh wait, I had to negate crowds in order to look at his hand. So anyways, don't know if there's anything I could have done there. Here's something I do. I get crowd's choice and get Guardian of Your Souls out, but I don't think I was forced to do that. I think I could have just, I guess I was just scared of women with the Bez just blocking any of my angels. Okay, so here now I'm threatening to play a Revelation enhancement. I don't have one, but my opponent doesn't know that. I'm hoping they maybe a little mess up and do a little misplay here. Here comes the Strong Angel. I like Strong Angel in this deck. One of your big weaknesses once you band everybody into battle is our effects like Scattered, and this will toss all that. But I think this might be the best case scenario for me if he's just going to Glory here. I think he's just going to go Herod plus Glory. And honestly, yeah, that's pretty good. So Glory the Lord. I wonder if he would just been better off using Grapes of Wrath here. But anyways, this will work. The non-bow in my deck is that Guardians of Your Soul will prevent human heroes from getting converted. So it is awkward that I have the Falling Away in my hand. But here's a cool thing you can do. If you're playing a deck with Guardian and Falling Away in it, and you need to Falling Away their hero, if you block with an evil character like Herod Agrippa, which says negate a card, you can try to negate your Guardian, and then the Guardian ability will trigger where you can put Guardian on top of your deck because you're targeting it with something. And now Guardian's out of the play, you can use Falling Away on their hero. So that's like a desperation move. Not going to do that all day, but it might come up. Yeah, this Falling Away looking rather suspicious in my hand. You're sure? Oh man, what's happening? Whose turn is it? It's Red Wing's turn. What is his woes going to negate? Probably he's not going to negate orphans, I'll tell you that much. He has a star ability of Simon Peter to play a meek disciple from his deck. He's going to use his woes on my temple, and he's thinking about his attack. I still have no res revealer out, which makes his Sin the Helper bouncing Simon still annoying to deal with, but not the end of the world. I'm just lucky he's not using Possessing Spirit, choosing the blocker for me that I have no blocks for. And I'm just letting my opponent know that we've just hit the 1 hour mark in our match. Lackey games have an hour and 15 minutes to finish, and usually that's more than enough time to finish, but with these 100 card decks, games are taking longer, so it is good to be mindful of that. I know in our final matches versus Justin, our games like take 2 hours because I think neither of us feel okay with going to time in finals. I think we'd just rather battle it out. But if we're playing real tournaments, like, yeah, there's no way they'd allow that. But it does make for some epic, well, depending upon your definition of epic, the word epic, does make for some interesting games. I'll say that much. Here comes his guy. He's a 4/2. 4/2 is going to be strong enough to get initiative against everything in my deck. And he used a search ability, so I think Herod's Executioner is good to draw and play. Now I have that Duplicity who can play the other Stalemate card in my reserve. So just another easy block for me. Like, all my blocks this game have just been really good. Outsiders, turn 1, put him special initiative with a bomb. Turn 2, he blocks. I play Executioner, put him in the Stalemate right away. Turn 3, I block with the Herod, and then Grapes the Herod. Turn 4, Herod's Executioner block. Play another Stalemate card, you know. And my blocks are just insane this game. There's nothing the clay deck can do about it. He has had right on this whole game. Oh yeah, there's a turn there. I think I did like he chose the blocker, but I exchanged into Herod, which chose his Matthias. It wasn't like that insane of a block, but still, it was good. Okay, so I played a Buckler. I got Captain my Captain. So now this score is still 3-2. I'm just trying to figure out how can I play around this Grapes of Wrath. My plan here is to attack with a character, and then Angel of the Lord, the character he's trying to block with. And so here comes Captain of the Host. Now this is not going to work if he blocks with Herod Archelaus. I can't Angel of the Lord his Herod Archelaus, and he could Grapes that way. So I do have Buckler going on right now. And he does have a Herod's Executioner in hand that I'm trying to play around because I was trying to get cards out of my hand. So that's why I played Falling Away on one of my own characters, because I didn't want him using Herod's Executioner. Cannot be prevented to get the Herod's foreign horses and playing enhancement in battle. That's why I'm attacking with here. Yeah, I think his only block is like Herod Archelaus plus Grapes. Anything else is not going to get it done. He knows I have Angel, so if he blocks like this, I'm just going to Angel. But he forces me to use the Angel, and he still has the Grapes in his hand, and it's 4-2, so it's not like that Grapes is going to be dead anytime soon. I'm still in a pickle here unless I can find a card that restricts dominance during battle. I don't think I have that many in this version. Don't think I'm running the Cross or anything like that. And that's a departure from the most recent 100 card decks I've been trying to build, which have been using a lot of just dominant restriction in battle. This one's really like encouraging my offense to use its dominance during battle. And so I'm still alternating on trying to figure out what's the best version, like what's the best philosophy. Should I be trying to restrict dominance? Should I not be trying to restrict dominance? But I'm just taking the feedback that recently I've been doing okay with Nativity, big Nativity, but I just haven't been like winning as much as I want. And so maybe I'm like, okay, maybe my approach with Nativity of doing the dominant restriction is like, maybe I need to just change it up and go back to what was working, which what was working was a lot of dominance in battle. So I have a Distressed out, negating that. Possessing Spirit, luckily, that would have been a problem, would have been a big problem. Okay, anyways, he's attacking with a 4-2 character. And my thinking right now is like, oh man, if I can just get one more turn in and restrict him from playing his dominance during defense, I could just win the battle next turn. So I decide, even though I have like decent blocks in my hand, I decide just to surrender him the Vindicated Lost Soul in order to try and just win the game next turn. Yeah, because I think I could have gone Outsiders activate a bomb there, but he could have used his 2x2 to add some more disciples to battle. So I don't know if I could have gotten the block there. Anyways, now I've just given myself a good shot at winning the game. So I'm going to look at his hand with open hand. I have to play around Deceiver, Abandonment, Futile Inquisition. That's a lot. It's a lot to play around. So I don't think I've used a search ability this turn, but now I'm going to use Concealed Riches, go to my reserve, grab some people. His Herod's Temple's negated. I'm just trying to win the game this turn. So I'm trying to find the line, trying to find the attack that magically makes it all work. And I'm not able to find the line. I'm getting rid of the Deceiver out of his hand because I don't want him getting Executioner. But yeah, I'm just not really sure what to do here. I have 2 enhancements in my hand. They're both banding enhancements. One of them doesn't work because I didn't attack with a Gospel Angel. Child is Born can band to his stuff, so I could band to his Lazarus, but I don't think I could convert Lazarus to Meek because of Guardian. So anyways, Herod's guards coming in, preventing the next. And what Herod is he gonna go? Herod the Great. Oh yeah, here's a line I missed. Because my territory isn't being protected, he's able to put a purple hero into battle. And because I don't have any purple enhancements, obviously this is gonna end poorly for me. So in the end, I ended up adding those disciples, and in the end ended up costing me the game. If I was able to put a silver character into battle here, I think I could have won, maybe. At least I would have been able to band to Legion of Angels, which would have protected me from the Abandonment. And then, yeah, I don't know how I would have stopped the card that ended the battle in the stalemate there. So I don't know. But anyways, definitely cost me. So now we are entering the final turn of the game. It's Red Wing's final turn. So he has this turn to try and get a lost soul. We are at the hour and 15-minute mark. I went first. So now he gets one more turn. So he has to figure out a way to get in. So let's see. I know he has a Rhydon in his hand. I think he might be restricted from playing that until the end of his turn. So that's good to know. Interested to see what he decides to do here. I lost my 1 copy of Herod Agrippa, so I can't really negate his whatchamacallit, his 2x2. I have Executioner, which could band to Herod, even one of his Herods. So I decide to do the following. I know he has 2x2, so I decide to do Herod's Guard. I try to do Herod the Great and choose Akeem. I choose Akeem because not many Disciple decks play gold enhancements, and also his Herod's Temple's being negated, so that means he's not being protected. So now I'm thinking like, okay, if he uses 2x2, he's going to be adding multiple heroes into battle, at least, and then I'll probably be getting initiative here, and I can probably play my Nostra. So he decides to add Simon to battle. and I think somehow my my temple's not negated. So I'm like, okay, even if he does this, now we're at a toss battle. He tries to toss me down. I'll just toss down his Simon with my Nostra. So I basically thought I had it all covered. So now we're in a toss battle. Akeem plus Simon versus Herod. So Red Wing decided not to add 2 disciples. So he's wisely playing around Nostra there. And then he has 1, 2, 3. Let's see. He has 3 meek characters. So he's going to toss me down for 3. And unfortunately puts it in his initiative. And he's going to be able to toss for 7 and kill me. So yeah, if he had 1 more meek evil character or meek hero in play, he would have been able to toss me down for 4. And that would have passed initiative to me. And I would have been able to toss my Nostra to Simon and probably end up winning the battle. But yeah, it ended up being a 4-4 tie. It was a really good game back and forth. I had the opportunity to win the game and ended up not winning the game. So yeah, thanks for watching and thanks for listening to my thoughts about this new strategy. I don't know. The offense has some struggles against Herods. That's fair to say. And I don't know if the purple splash is worth it because you end up in situations like this where the opponents Herod the Greats and stuff are going to mess you up. So yeah, I still think the offense needs some work. The defense is obviously solid. Got a lot of blocks against disciples. All right. So see ya. Bye, everybody.